Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back for another card review. So in this video, we're going to take a look at Reaper of Wrath, Zhu Rong. Alright, so she's back with another power release. So very good. So I believe I'm not really a big fan of this card. But anyway, let's go through what Zhu Rong have after power release. Right, so let's take a look at the leader skill. We have point number 1, when there are 3 or more attributes in the team. Team attack times 3.5. So a pretty shitty multiplier there, but it's okay. Fire possess 50% of other runestones. And point number 2, when there are 3 or more humans in the team, human attack times 3.5, HP and recovery times 1.3. Right, so in other words, you have to put 3 or more humans. If not, the multiplier is going to be pretty bad. Right, so 3 or more humans means that you technically have to just slot in 1 extra human, considering that Zhu Rong leader ally is already 2 humans. So just slot in another human to fit the criteria. But most ideally, you pretty much want to play a mono human team, right, with 3 or more attributes. So usually back before power release, usually people play water, fire, earth. But I believe this is not going to be the case anymore. You can just bring as many attributes as possible, right? As long as there's 3 or more attributes. Okay, next, let's take a look at Zhu Rong's team skill. So by dissolving 5 runes in the first batch, so this does not mean that they didn't mention that you need to dissolve all 5 runes in first batch, so that's good. So as long as you dissolve fire, at least you dissolve 1 set of fire, right? So turn 1 runestones into enchanted fire human runestones at the end of the round. It converts 1 for every human present in the team, so to the max 6, which is a mono human team, right? And it prioritizes light and dark runes first, right? So this team, I will foresee this team having very difficult time clearing like quintet enchanted shield and stuff like that, even just quintet in general, right? Because of the auto conversion of light and dark runes. Okay, so this is something to take note of. So number 2, active skill of Meng Huo -3, which is the other so-called Zhu Rong's partner card. An active skill of Rebel Armies -2 after entering a stage, which is okay. And damage of Rebel Armies member will be dealt regardless of defense, right? So this is actually kind of a pretty niche skill here, right? So if you encounter things like petrified runes and stuff like that, then you can be sure that Zhu Rong and other Rebel Army members will actually just blast through the stage without having to dissolve the petrified runes, right? So these are the few good points and bad points of Zhu Rong. So overall, I find that as long as a card has a very good base multiplier, right, like for example times 6 and above, it can be used in today's meta, but obviously not all the time, right? Every team have their pros and cons. Okay, so lastly, we're going to talk about her active skill, which is at CD5, right? So point number 1, when one force points can be obtained for every 3 types of runestones dissolved to the max 10 force points in accumulation. So for 1 round, the more force points accumulated, the higher the monster attack to the max times 10. For each force points, turn 3 runestones into enchanted human runestones to the max 30, right? So that's if you have full force points, which is 10. And last, when a monster has 10 force points upon skill activation, monster's damage will be dealt regardless of puzzle shield and enemy's defense. So in my opinion, enemy defense is pretty much redundant because it's in the team skill anyways. Okay, and then after that, force point minus 50% after skill activation. So this is kind of a cumulative thing, right? So I believe it's quite confusing for most players out there, right? But usually these force points, in order to get that maximum 10 force points, you need to accumulate a few rounds depending on how many types of runestones you dissolve, right, each round. Okay, it is going to take a while to hit 10 force points, but once you hit max, you can actually deal damage regardless of puzzle shield, so that is one of the plus points, right? But we do have a few ignore puzzle shield now, such as Pompeii and I think one of other card as well, right? So this card here is not really a must, but if let's say you're missing out on Pompeii, or you don't have other cards that ignore puzzle shield, then you pretty much can consider power releasing Zhu Rong, right? But you have to meet that 10 force point requirement in order to deal damage regardless of puzzle shield. Right, so overall, I find that Zhu Rong is not gonna be super meta. Right, I believe Sun Ce is gonna appear more often than Zhu Rong. Right, correct me if I'm wrong. Right, because I power released these two cards not too long ago, and I tried them in battle pretty much one run each. Right, one run for Sun Ce and one round for Zhu Rong. I believe that I'm more of a Sun Ce player than a Zhu Rong player. Right, so those who are a fan of Zhu Rong and find any missing details I have in this card review, feel free to leave it down in this comment section below. Right, so overall, I find that in terms of damage output, if you were to play a full more than 3 attribute mono human team, I find that damage in a sense, damage wise is not very lacking. It's still there, right? But if it's for personal opinion, I wouldn't bring Zhu Rong. I would have bring some other teams than this card. Alright, so overall, that's going to be my review on this particular power release version of Zhu Rong. Right, if you enjoyed this video, do give it a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.